Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in the gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. It says thousands of protesters gathered together in Tel Aviv, which is modern-day Ashdod, where you got Pink City, all sorts of wickedness and debauchery taking place. It says thousands of protesters gathered in Tel Aviv and marched towards government buildings and growing uncertainty over Prime Minister Benjamin Bibi Milkowski prolonged absence from public view, which they talking about he may be dead. All right, has there been videos or images surfacing that they was pulling his body from the rubble because he was attacked in some type of a Iranian drone strike in one of his homes, and he got attacked. But from what I recall, he wasn't even nowhere near the land of Israel because he was traveling like on these jets to like different palaces in like Germany and different parts of Europe. He was hiding out, calling shots from there. So I don't see a guy of this caliber sticking around when things get bad. All right. So he probably got a call from the elites and say, well, look, retreat, or he probably just left the people because they realize that this is a war that they can't win, as his regime is holding on by a thread, literally. But if he is dead, I don't expect him to announce it. But so far, he's missing. All right. Now, videos or images have surfaced that they pulled his body from rubble. But, just like with the AI videos of him in a coffee shop, it's hard to really know what to believe nowadays, man. Which AI has done more harm than good because you don't know the authenticity of a lot of things. But through the Spirit, it says while the Israeli leader not appearing publicly for more than a week, calls have intensified for clarity and confirmation of his well-being as tensions continue to rise during the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. So civil unrest, man. Okay. And if you do a before and after picture of Tel Aviv, that shit down there look like a paradise in some cases. Okay. This was the beach, in Pink City. But now you look at it, their city is totally being bombed, being totally destroyed by the Iranian drone strikes, man. Because Iranians, they've been saying for a minute that they was going to wipe this place off the map, okay, because they've had it with the small hats. The world has had it with them. And now, they started a war that they can't seemingly win. They're not backing down, all right? But nonetheless, this civil unrest here is coming to Babylon the Great once things starts to unfold because they're talking about supply chain halts and oil and prices of gas going up and economic fracture. When these things happen here in the West, you better believe that America is going to turn into a burning pitch overnight when it comes to civil unrest and people burning these cities down in this country. Okay, people are going to go batshit crazy, man. And the fact that everybody got weapons here, too, it's going to be a bloodbath right here in Babylon. So, people.
Breaking news, Tel Aviv is no longer safe, okay? Not only is Tel Aviv going through blackouts, not only is Tel Aviv going through sandstorms, but Tel Aviv is also now being hit in a crucial area, inside of the bunkers, okay? Previously, the missiles were not reaching the bunkers from the Iranian side. Now, the missiles are hitting the bunkers. They are not targeting the bunkers, but they are hitting the bunkers. And this lets all of the Israelis know, our beautiful, amazing, lovely Israeli people, it is time.
Fuck up. But this is what it looks like.
So that's not the one we donated. بقنبلة اتفجرت
I think that's what the calculation now is. Regime preservation. Could you get a more pragmatic figure presiding over this regime? Sure.
Aaron, I just want to break in for a moment because we're looking at live pictures.
Yeah, and the Lord is not with them because these are not his people. The Most High is burning that shit down because it's going to be built back up in righteousness. You know?
Because what you mean, have you...
But anyway, the point is civil unrest. This seems to be the only video I can really find on it. Hold on. Let me see something. This was 3 years ago. Chaos
because there's a lot of fake video going around and a lot of weird posts on X. So it's, you know, when I do peek in, it's hard to know, and you have to listen to Grok, and then Grok's dismantling a lot of the fake videos.
Mm-hmm. What are the fake videos that you're thinking
There's just
of
like
in Tel Aviv?
fake videos of, you know, like an insane amount of bombs dropping down on the city, but it seems like there's a massive amount of destruction in Tel Aviv. And what's happening in Tel Aviv, it's hard to know what's real.
Yeah, and allegedly this guy he's missing. All right. But nonetheless, civil unrest is coming to America. And people ain't seen nothing yet. Let's do this. Civil unrest around the world.
With civil unrest and riots erupting all around the world, people are starting to ask, will this be coming home to me? And that's what, with civil unrest and riots erupting all around the world, people are starting to ask, will this be coming home to me? And that's what we'll get into today. I'll show you many different examples of that. But we need to understand why it's happening in the first place. Right here. Big tech is bracing for a possible recession spooking other industries. And I do believe that this is something that people should be concerned about. You have an economic cycle or a business cycle, and there are relatively predictable steps that go in line here. In fact, it's so predictable that right now, at least from 2020 up until the present, what people believe will happen. What is that? Well, as soon as things get bad, the central banks will print some money and they will lower interest rates, and we will see sunnier days. Google CEO warned sunnier days are over as tech giants report slower growth and cut down on hiring. So what's happening here? This is the initial stages. They believe the recession is coming. They believe with interest rates rising, it's going to be harder to grow. So instead of putting all the emphasis on growth and on expansion, these companies are starting to kind of cut back a little bit. They haven't fired mass amounts of people, but we are at these beginning stages. So we'll see how that develops.
And a lot of videos are being taken down too, man. But anyway, let's go to the book of Matthew 24. And let's start at verses 4. And it says, And Yahushua said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. We are saying that, wars and rumors of wars. And see that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there should be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So like this guy is going into how when these banking sectors collapse and the money gets tainted, people are going to start to move on these government institutions, man. As we're seeing civil unrest here in America in so many ways, like the whole ICE stuff, ICE protests, that's a form of civil unrest as well. Matter of fact, let's go back here. ICE protests. Because allegedly in Minneapolis, things are still crazy. Peep this. This is Vermont. They dragging people. Protests arrested for harassing ICE agents during operation in Vermont. Yep, this is what we just seen. Thousands of anti-ICE protests in Minneapolis. And these things are not even being spoken about on the news anymore. There's a blackout on it. Federal agents attacked dozens of arrests during anti-ICE protests in Minneapolis. That's why they haven't funded DHS. Yeah, man. Protests, arrests. ICE protests underway in downtown LA amid national shutdown. Even though these are about a month ago, it's still pretty current. And eventually this is going to hit all these cities in America, man. All right. Scripture said in the next place, a great insurrection, right? 2 Edges 9:1, it says, and he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest the parts of the signs past, which I've told thee before, then thou shalt understand that this is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, see, uproars of people are pissed off, man. You know, protest. Every country on the planet Earth is in some type of civil unrest. See, going back to TikTok here.
Israel is already
Civil unrest around the world. We need something more recent, though. See, since the small hats bought TikTok, things are a lot censored now. You know, a lot of things are being censored because a lot of these videos are old, but you know, it's a lot of current things going on too. Civil unrest, America. See, public demonstrations speak this.
States right now is exposing a deeper divide than most people. Nationwide protests and political division. What's happening across the United States right now is exposing a deeper divide than most people realize. Protests are beginning to grow in several major cities across the country as Americans take to the streets over rising tensions tied to foreign policy decisions, economic pressure, and government leadership. Demonstrations have been reported in cities like New York City, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C., where crowds are voicing frustration over the direction of the country. Some protesters are demanding less involvement in overseas conflicts, while others are calling for stronger action to protect national interests and global stability. This is where the controversy is intensifying. Political leaders are split on how to respond, with some defending current policies and others warning that public trust is starting to erode. Law enforcement agencies are increasing presence in key areas as officials monitor for potential unrest, while civil rights groups emphasize the importance of protecting peaceful demonstrations. The situation is quickly becoming a reflection of broader divisions across the United States, from foreign policy to the economy and public safety. The real question tonight is whether these protests remain peaceful expressions of public opinion or grow into a larger movement that shapes national policy. Nationwide protests and political division.
And that is what it is. It says United States most likely to experience civil unrest. Yeah, all that's going to be high tension. I don't know what the hell they talking about.
But America is a powder keg right now, and pretty much all of us are holding the match. We're about armpit deep in a government shutdown right now. There's a bunch of federal workers not getting paid, and a bunch of people are about to lose EBT. Now, if EBT goes away this weekend, a lot of people have said that they're going to go raid their local stores and maybe even their neighbors' homes. They're going to feed their babies one way or another because that's America's responsibility. The taxpayers' responsibility is to take care of them, and if they're not going to do that through EBT, they're going to do that by donating their own stuff. That's the general sentiment. This weekend, we're going to have a ton of Americans that are going to go absolutely ballistic in the streets. What this means for you is, one, you might want to go do your grocery shopping. Unfortunately, I hate to be that guy and incite panic buying, but you might want to get some stuff. Don't go clear out the shelves, but make sure that you have food for the next week or two until this boils over. Now, if there's mass civil unrest this weekend, government responses are going to be a little bit slow because of, the government shutdown. What this means is we're in a period of very heightened vulnerability, and there's going to be a lot of bad actors out there on the streets taking advantage of it. You need to be very, very careful of where you go and when you go if this starts to pop off. If you see that EBT is actually getting canceled, you might want to, stay home for a little bit. It could end up being nothing, but it could.
I'm starting to believe this was probably due back in November of last year when the shutdown came, because I haven't heard anything recent as far as about EBT, because I thought they was funded until September, October this year. But nonetheless, these shutdowns will bring in civil unrest over a course of time because, people, they're going to lose it, man.
People know about the shutdown in Italy. I am blown the hell away. Do you know how many people were in the comments going, I knew nothing of this? It wasn't on any legacy media. It wasn't even on my social media feed. This is exactly what they want. This level of control the narrative. Do you think they really want us to know that an entire country shut down in protest? Everybody united, got together and said, we are not doing this anymore? They don't want that. And I am blown away that so many people did not know about Italy's shutdown. I'm telling you, go look it up. That shit is powerful as hell. And I promised I would not make any more political posts. My husband is not going to be happy with me. But we have...
You Americans, you don't know a goddamn thing, all right? You don't know shit. This is why a lot of you getting ready to be unalived in the worst ways. But it says, then thou wilt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world have the beginning and the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. All right. And this is part of it. Civil unrest, as the scriptures tells us in 2 Ezra 16. Let's start at verses 70. And it says, for there should be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Who fears the Lord? The Israelites, okay? And therefore they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. I mean, they're going to go door-to-door searches, going to kick in doors at gunpoint, hold baby mamas, mothers, wives, children, husbands, men. They're going to hold families at gunpoint, separate families, and torch you off to a detention center. And I don't need a man, women, you going to be targeted the most because, hey, let's be real. You women, you've ran your course with men. And my next video is going to show just that. But it says, then they should know who are my chosen, and they should be tried as gold in the fire. But hear, O ye my beloved, says Yahweh, Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. It says, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. So we ain't really got nothing to worry about in these times, man. Even though all this riffraff will be taking place around us, because everybody's not going to have the luxury of getting out to the wilderness to live off grid. And even out there in the countryside, you're going to have skirmishes, man. Okay, the scriptures say sorrow should come upon on all sides. So, hey, you may try to run to the woods or into the countryside and escape the wrath for some time being. But even then, hey, things are going to take place out there because now you got to worry about the beast of the field. So either way it go, man, if the Lord is not on your side, then you cooked. 2nd Esdras 15, and I'm going to start at verses 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people should stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. This is civil unrest. And when it comes here, and when things really fall apart here, weapons are going to be brought out. Because right now you see tear gas, pepper spray, rubber bullets, tasers, batons and so forth, riot shields. You see stuff like that. All right, nobody's really breathing out the heavy artillery. But with ICE putting that chick down and that dude down a couple of months ago, that's just a spark of things to come, because once the government is completely out of the picture and lawlessness abides, there's gonna be shootouts in the middle of the street, man, on the middle of your block. You coming outside in the morning, you gonna hear gunshots. At night, shit gonna really turn up, man. Like that movie Civil War. That's what it's gonna be like. Mad Max on steroids. And the crazy part about it is that the Americans, they stacked on top of each other. Okay, especially when you live in them neighborhoods that you got a plot of land and maybe like 5 feet, 10 feet across the yard, there's your neighbor's house. I mean, that's just a war in itself, trying to get off your block in this time. Okay, you got 50, 60 houses on one block and you trying to escape. You're going to get caught in the middle of a crossfire, man. So there ain't going to be nowhere that people going to be able to escape to, man. Especially if you live in an apartment complex. Yeah, it's already set up for the riping. And it reads, it says, for there should be sedition among men and evading one another, and they should not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their acts shall stand in their power. And the men should desire to go into the city and should not be able. For because of their pride, so the city should be troubled and the houses should be destroyed. And men should be afraid, meaning they're going to burn down homes, developments, apartment buildings are going to be on fire. It ain't going to be no 911 that's going to get to you quick enough. So these things are just going to burn, man. So your once cozy apartment is going to become a rubble of ashes. All right, these are the times that we're in, okay? And Yahweh Shai has warned of these things through his prophets. Okay, we've been constantly blowing a trumpet, warning our people to get right with the Heavenly Father. But Jake think everything is a damn joke, man. This is why you Jakes are getting ready to be drafted to the military to hold your own. And you're going to be left out there and you're going to get straight up eviscerated because you don't know war. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but should destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation, okay? So I'm going to end it giving all praises and glory and honor that is due to Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you will edify. Until the next lesson. Shalom.